Good morning, everyone. Please be seated. What a glorious day we have to celebrate this momentous occasion with each and every one of you. I am Tawanda Jordan, and it is my pleasure and privilege to serve as the president of St. Mary's College of Maryland. With great pleasure, I now open the 46th May commencement ceremony of St. Mary's College as a four-year degree-granting institution. With me on the platform are esteemed colleagues, members of the Board of Trustees, and honored guests, including our commencement speaker, Kojo Nnamdi. I would like to introduce Board Chair Gail Harmon and invite her to the podium to bring greetings from the St. Mary's College Board of Trustees.
Thank you, President Jordan. I want to join you in welcoming the families, friends, special guests, and dignitaries on the stage and in our audience. What an honor it is to be here with the class of 2016. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I want to welcome Kojo Nnamdi. We're honored to have you here with us today, and we're excited to hear your words of wisdom to our departing graduates. To our graduates, I say three things. First, thanks to your parents and guardians who got you here today and entrusted you to us for 4 years. Second, our gratitude to our extraordinary faculty and staff. We see before us the fruits of your excellent labors. And third, to the graduates, we're proud of you. And know that as you go into the world, you will continue to make us proud and bring honor to St. Mary's College of Maryland. Enjoy the morning, have a good time, and now I'd like to turn the podium back to President Jordan.
Today, we gather to celebrate the graduation of 430 candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts at St. Mary's College. Graduates of the class of 2016, we applaud you for your accomplishments and hard work, and for the contributions you have made to our college. Thank you for gathering your families and friends here today to help us celebrate. Family and friends, we honor your role in the preparation of these graduates, your sacrifice, your commitment, and your support, all of which have made possible this day's academic accomplishments. You are the partners who deserve much of the credit. Students, I know the depth of your admiration for the faculty and staff. Their high expectations, their insistence on academic rigor and moral integrity create the transformational climate of learning that you have come to know as your education. Commencement is truly one of the most pleasurable moments of any academic year. Faculty and staff, please rise to be recognized by all of us for imparting a truly fine educational program to the graduates of 2016. Thank you for challenging our graduates and leading them to success. Special recognition should also be given to the countless staff members who have been dedicated to making this culminating event. Let's thank the St. Mary's College workers who think up, work up, set up, and who will later clean up so that we may honor our new graduates today. Now I would like to bring to the podium Jose Ballesteros, Professor of International Languages and Cultures and newly minted Stephen Mueller Distinguished Professor in the Arts, who will assist us in making the day with a reading that he has chosen.
This is a poem by Ellen Hagen, What We Do Now. We mourn, we bless, we blow, we wail, we wind down. We sip, we spin, we blind, we bend, bow and hem. We hip, we blend, we bind, we shake, we shine, shine. We lips and we teeth, we praise and protest. We document and we drama. We demand and we flow, fold and hang loose. We measure and we moan, mourn and whine low. And we live and we breathe. And some of the time we don't. Today I am here, here and tired, here and awake, sure and alive, yes, here and still here, still and here and still awake and still alive. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose, for the thoughtful and somewhat appropriate, I think, reading. Jose has shared the gift of language with today's graduating class, and he is but one of 150 faculty members at St. Mary's, all of whom share their gifts of knowledge and their passion for learning with students and with each other on a daily basis. This year, the college has lost 2 dedicated faculty members, each of whom made an indelible impression on many of today's graduates. In August, Paul Blanchette, Associate Professor of Chemistry and a member of the St. Mary's faculty for almost 40 years, passed away. Had he been here today, he would have led the graduating class as head marshal, a role he undertook with great joy for many years. Less than 2 weeks ago, Tom Barrett, professor of history, passed away after 20 years of service to this college and to its students. Let us take a moment of silence in this time of celebration to recognize these good men and thank them for all they have given us. Thank you, and thank them. Commencements are a rite of passage, and we have marked the passage of Paul and Tom, but they would want us to move forward and mark another, more joyous passage, the moment when our graduates, all of you, go out into the world. The representative of these graduates today is the valedictorian of the class of 2016, Matthew Fleer. Matt is an economics major, a NITSE scholar, a member of the St. Mary's Ethics Bowl team that finished 23rd in the nation this year, and a dedicated cross-country runner, managing to cover twice as much terrain as less ambitious mortals do in the same span of time. This brief listing of roles does much to highlight some of Matt's more noticeable qualities. He is rational, conscientious, an affable and thoughtful leader. Yet this only begins to capture the kind of person and the kind of scholar that Matt is. What Matt loves about economics, his professors note, is the ability to apply its principles to real-life situations and to real people, people like you and me and others who live in St. Mary's County and elsewhere. Matt wants to reach those people because he was dissatisfied with what he saw as the dryness of most economic writing. He spent much of the last year and a half not only scrupulously researching his St. Mary's project on the economics of water quality in the St. Mary's River watershed, but also honing his craft as a writer so that he could communicate what he had learned to the widest possible audiences. Both creative and intellectually rigorous, a dedicated social scientist, and also a humanist, Matt is, as one of his professors notes, the kind of liberal arts graduate that we faculty at St. Mary's most wish to produce, truly a Renaissance man. Consistent with that description, Matt talks of his St. Mary's experience as transformative, providing opportunities on campus and on a study tour to South Africa in which he was challenged intellectually, physically, and emotionally, emerging as a person who had the confidence to be what and who he wanted to be. I would now like to ask Matt to join me at the podium so he can deliver the valedictory address.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you. Hi guys. What's up? All right, I'm incredibly nervous, so let's do this. Well, Dr. Glidden is right. I do like making econ understandable for a wider audience, which I have to say is actually the least interesting fact about me. But let me hit you with some econ, because that's what I do. So this college degree you're about to get, brilliant, brilliant investment. And by brilliant, I mean this. You're going to make, on average, $23,500 more per year than a high school graduate, which, you know. I ran the numbers on this one for you. If you took that additional $23,500 in earnings and spent every single cent on Natty Bows, you could buy somewhere in the ballpark of 34,500 bows annually. Annually. I'm not done. So if you stacked every one of those bows on top of each other, it's the height of 9 Empire State Buildings of bows. Empire State Buildings of bows per year. I mean, that's just insane. Brilliant investment, congrats. Okay, so that's it for econ, but I still want to take a few moments to talk about something else I'm getting out of my education here, more than just the ability to buy more bows, which is important, I know. It's something of a life lesson, and if I were to put the life lesson into one sentence, it would go something like this. Go sailing during small craft advisories. So here's what I mean. There are times in life when you can choose between something comfortable and easy or something challenging but incredibly rewarding. For me, this choice presented itself last weekend when I was lounging in the sand by the docks, book in hand, in one of the only days of sunshine we've had in like 6 months or something now. I had that amazing view of the river. Everyone sitting here knows the one I'm talking about. It's the view from the right of the docks in the sand, where the silver masts of the sailboats just frame the blues of the river and sky, and you can like just hear that soft, light sound of inch-tall waves breaking over oyster shells and pebbles. I was happy. That's an amazing view. But then, my friend Marissa offered to take me sailing. So my first instinct was to say no. I was perfectly content reading. I was comfortable. But more than that, I was scared. I'm still kind of scared thinking about it, actually. I don't know how to sail in any conditions, and on this day there were 20-mile-per-hour winds. So that's like a fifth of a major hurricane, basically, I think. I mean, when I walked out on the floating dock, like a few minutes before this, half the dock was underwater from the surging waves. Birds were getting up, trying to fly like against the wind like they do, just getting nowhere and giving up. They were just like falling to the ground. It was bad. I was terrified. But I knew there was a chance that if I went sailing, I would see or do something amazing out on the water. That if I stayed on the beach and read, I would be doing more than just staying comfortable. I'd be denying myself an opportunity to grow, to experience, to feel, to live. So I said yes to Marissa. I chose the challenge. I chose to sail in a small craft advisory. Almost as soon as we left the docks, we hit 20 knots, which in a very tiny FJ sailboat sitting inches from the water with 20-mile-per-hour winds is very, very, very fast. Maybe not for you sailors, but for me, it's very fast. The boat was shaking. I felt out of control, like I was going to crash at any minute. Like the whole thing was just going to completely fall apart. It was terrifying, just terrifying. But it was also thrilling. The white-capped waves were splashing into our faces, soaking us, but not able to dampen our constant laughter. We scrambled from one side of the boat to the other, strapping our feet in and leaning off the side to keep from capsizing. I looked down at one point and realized my knee, my whole body was shaking, not from fear, but from exhilaration, from pure joy. I learned that I could watch the color of water to know when we were about to hit a puff. Is that right, sailors? A puff? And speed up. That I could surf the waves in a sailboat the way I could with a board, that I could full plane, that I could feel completely out of control and in control at the same time. It was one of the most adrenaline-fueled thrills of my life, and I almost said no. Yes, we did end up capsizing, those of you who were there. Saw it happen. I mean, it was 20-mile-per-hour wind, so what do you want from us? Come on, like we're not professionals. But that's not the point. The point is that I had a choice to make between staying on the shore or going out into the terrifying winds and sailing. A choice between continuing on a comfortable route or choosing a new, unknown, and challenging approach. It'll never be easy to take every challenge. Of course it won't. It never has been for me. It wasn't then. It won't ever be. But very often, through accepting a challenge, you'll find new highs. So I implore you, fellow classmates, wherever you find yourself in life, take the challenging course. Make an investment not in natty bows, but in experimentation, in daring, in risk-taking. When you have a chance to either sit in silence at an all-campus meeting on race or to speak up with empathy for your classmates, speak up. When you have a chance to stay home on a Friday night or to go for a gauntlet at the door, go for the gauntlet. Yeah. When you're deciding whether to study for that final or to run across campus completely naked, run. And when one day you're trying to figure out if you should continue working at your safe job or risk pursuing your passion, pursue your passion. And when you have a chance to sail in a small craft advisory, sail. Choose the challenge. Because if you think the boathouse is pretty from the shore, just imagine how beautiful it looks as you speed by it at 20 knots, leaning off the side of a sailboat. So I know it's almost time to wrap up, probably. I didn't really time this. But I'd like to end my time with you this morning, not with economics, not with a lesson, but with a toast. So excuse me 1 second while I prepare. Let's go! Hold on. Keep holding. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So I want to first toast the staff and the faculty at St. Mary's. Your openness and availability and just pure love of teaching have inspired us all. We'll stay in touch, and we hope that you guys will too. I want to toast to the families and loved ones who have shaped us into what we are today, all of you guys back there. A thank you is never enough, but thank you. I want to toast the river, a river that has given us magnificent sunsets, I'm going to cry, in hues of red and purple and pink that we never even knew existed. A river that we sail and paddleboard and kayak, a river that inspired our SMPs. This river has been our home for the last 4 years, and it's a place we'll continue to call home for many years to come. And finally, I want to toast the class of 2016, all these people. I love you all so much and wish you all the best. We made it. And now we get to move out into a world that seems full of choppy waters and driving winds, a world that seems to need our full investment morally and economically, a world that needs us to risk ourselves, to take the challenge. So with the full benefit of our amazing experiences here at St. Mary's, let's go sailing. I can't wait to see what's out there on the water for all of us. Cheers.
Thank you, Matt. I have one more thing to say about Matt, unscripted. He does like to take a challenge, but he's also wise enough to sometimes check it out in advance. When we met on Thursday and had a lovely conversation, and at the end of that conversation, he asked, would it be all right if he did a toast at the end of his valedictory speech? And I said, what would you be toasting with? And he said, water. And I said, that's fine. So we move on now to the audience participation segment of our ceremony. Please turn to your program. We are all going to sing the aptly named school song, St. Mary's College of Maryland. The music was composed by David Froome from our music department, and the words were crafted by Jennifer Conyard-Black from our English department. Professor of music Larry Vogt has worked with a number of graduating seniors who are now walking across the platform. They will lead us in the singing of the song.
St. Mary's College of Maryland.
Thank you, Professor Vogt. Students, our commencement speaker today is Kojo Nnamdi. I just love just saying his name. It just makes me smile. Kojo Nnamdi is host of the Kojo Nnamdi Show, a daily news program produced by American University's WAMU 88.5. In addition, he is host of WAMU's The Politics Hour on Fridays. The Washington Post calls Nnamdi the best radio interviewer in town, thanks to his engaging discourse over political issues, social policies, culture, and the sciences, with a lineup of dynamic guests and listener call-ins on topics of interest to the Washington, D.C. population. He came to D.C. in 1968 after dropping out of McGill University in Montreal and spending a year on Wall Street in New York. In Washington, he worked at the newly formed Center for Black Education, founded by former members of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, with high-profile civil rights activists like Charlie Cobb and Ivanhoe Donaldson on its roster. Nnamdi also managed Drum and Spear Bookstore, founded around the same time by Charlie Cobb and dedicated to the African voice. In 1973, he became news editor at WHUR, Howard University's radio station, on its debut of the Daily Drum broadcast, covering DC politics, Capitol Hill, labor relations, and African news. He stayed with the Daily Drum until 1985, becoming news director and producer. From 1985 to 2011, Nnamdi hosted Evening Exchange, a public affairs television program broadcast by WHUT-TV at Howard University. He became radio host of WAMU's Public Interest in August of 1998. In 2002, Public Interest changed its name to The Kojo Nnamdi Show. The Kojo Nnamdi Show has made him a familiar face in Washington, D.C., leading to his being named by Washingtonian magazine a Washingtonian of the Year in 2005, and one of the 150 most influential people in Washington in 2007. Kojo Nnamdi first came to campus as our invited speaker for the Carter G. Woodson Lecture in October 2014. We're happy to have him back. We get to see his voice in person. There's nothing better than that. Students, faculty, staff, trustees, families, and friends, please welcome our class of 2016 commencement speaker, Kojo Nnamdi.
Good morning. And congratulations to the class of 2016. We're all here today because you have succeeded in completing a plan that's a key ingredient in your personal future. Yes, you, after sleepless nights, after nervous days, after long hours spent writing papers, after hours of reading, oh, so much reading, after wondering, after worrying, after doubt, after uncertainty. It's over. Done. You have succeeded. You have won. And it's sweet, isn't it? You've been celebrating down at the Green Door, down at the Townhouse Greens, partying the night away. Maybe you're a little hungover even now. But that's okay. A key building block to your future is now in place. So please give yourselves a round of applause. You deserve it. I know you're going to miss the waterfront, the water, the serenity of being able to watch the sun set over the water. You'll miss the pond. You'll definitely miss Church Point. But you can now look ahead to what's ahead. And what awaits you is the world. And you've got to save it. That's right. You've got to save it 1 degree at a time. Each of you and each member of your family and each of your friends is justifiably proud of what you've accomplished today. The degree you have earned will help you, as was pointed out, in the job market. It will help you in the career of your choice. It can win you friends and help you influence people. It can help to provide financial stability. It might help your social life, maybe. It might even help you find a partner for life if you haven't already. But you've got an even bigger task ahead of you. You've got to save the world. How are you going to save the world? Well, as an individual, you can decide that for yourself. But I'm here to speak to you as a generation, and I'll tell you why. A hero of mine, long deceased, by the name of Frantz Fanon, you can look him up. His most famous book is called The Wretched of the Earth. He said, quoting here, "It is the role of each generation, out of relative obscurity, to discover its mission and either fulfill it or betray it." I learned that when I was about your age, and it used to bother the heck out of me. See, I'm a baby boomer. We are such a large generation. How does one young person figure out what the mission of his or her whole generation is? I couldn't figure it out, because sometimes the hardest thing to see is what's right in front of you. Sometimes it takes a while. You figure you're in your corner of the world, your chosen place, or the place you happen to be, and that's all you can see. And when I was your age, I was just about to embark on a college career. See, I had to work for 4 years after high school to save the money to pay for college. And I lived in a country called Guyana in South America. You can look that up. And in that country, there was no television at that time. The internet wasn't even a concept. Today, you have all of that and more. So it should be easier for you to see what's right in front of you. You can even Google it or go to Google Maps. It's called the world. That is really what's in front of you. The entire world waiting for you. And what you will see there is your future, the future of your generation. What you will see there is some prosperity, rich, healthy people living large. You'll see middle classes all over the world and here in the United States struggling more every day just to stay in the middle class. You'll see people who were once in the middle class but whose jobs have fled overseas. People who have slipped down out of the middle class. And you'll see a lot of people who are just plain down and out. You see them at first with your eyes, but I'm calling on you to see them with your brains, with your enlightened minds. You're now graduates of St. Mary's College. And when you look out at the world that's in front of you, what you see is the global village. You can see people in Syria dying in a civil war, millions trying to escape that civil war. You can see people in Somalia dying at the hands of a terrorist group, Al-Shabaab. You can see the effects of poverty in South America, in Southeast Asia, or in Southeast Washington. And you can see regimes under siege in Iraq or in Afghanistan, regimes that we had something to do with putting in place. You can see the devastating effects of climate change in the Philippines, in India, in Cambodia, and in Honduras. You can see wars all over the world. And you can hear the drums beating for war. But unlike my generation, those things won't seem far away. even drone strikes in countries on the other side of the world, they'll often still be near enough to where you live. Because where you live now, one of the places you live now, one of the places you'll be living probably even longer in the future, is in front of a small screen on a mobile device or a bigger screen on a laptop that can bring you images of what's going on just about anywhere in the world at any time. Think about it. A violent crime in your neighborhood, one click, one tap, there it is. An island disappearing in the South Pacific, there, you can actually watch it happen. Riots in Venezuela, it's right there in front of you. A drone strike in Yemen, minutes later, there's video of the destruction on your cell phone. But what can you do about that stuff? Not much, as individuals anyway. But as a generation, the graduating class of 2016 has the tools to face the challenges of the entire planet like no generation before you did. You know that there's a farmer growing vegetables he can't sell in Pennsylvania. You know that there's a farmer looking at the devastation of his crops in Papua New Guinea, and that there's a mother who can't feed her hungry children in Sudan. What they all have in common is you, your generation, you graduates, you who are now informed enough, educated enough, enlightened enough, not only to know about their situation, but to have the tools at your disposal, the technology and the brain power to figure out how to address their problems and how to solve them. And you don't have to join the Peace Corps to do it. The solutions to the major problems, the major challenges of the world, ending poverty, ending hunger, stopping climate change, are now within your intellectual grasp, within the intellectual grasp of graduates like you, who will at the same time be going to work every day, raising families, hopefully living well, enjoying your lives. All that's missing right now is the collective will. That's what generations bring to the table, collective will. They don't call the World War II generation the greatest generation for nothing. They call it that because that generation demonstrated the triumph of collective will. What a generation can do when it puts its mind to it. Save the world from fascist tyranny. That's what that generation did. Think of the 1963 March on Washington, when hundreds of thousands of people of all races from all over America showed up in Washington. They didn't show up to hear the "I have a dream" speech, though that's what they heard and that's what people remember, but that's not why they showed up. They showed up to express the collective will of a people and the collective will of a generation, to demand jobs and justice. And we have that generation to thank for the sacrifices that they made, for the justice they demanded. Justice that too many still find evasive, but justice enough that a nation that once upheld, a nation that once tolerated slavery, could summon the dignity and grace to elect an African-American man, Barack Hussein Obama, as its president. And thank you. And speaking of dignity and grace, the St. Mary's Way exemplified that with the appointment of Dr. Tawanda Jordan as its president in 2014. This remarkable woman is a personification of the dignity and grace of which I speak. She's a National Honor Roll graduate of Suitland High School, right here in Maryland. Is that correct, Congressman Hoyer? That's correct. Absolutely correct. Yes, she's a Suitland Ram who went on to earn a PhD in biochemistry and who has distinguished herself as an educator and administrator at several universities. She now stands and leads here at St. Mary's as a shining example of what the way forward in America can look like, how justice can manifest itself in the diversity on which our future must be built. But that should have come as no surprise, not at this institution, not if you follow the St. Mary's way, part of which is all about examining and shaping the functional ethical values of our changing world, the ethical values of our changing world. And the world is changing today at a faster pace than ever. We can only hope that in this rapidly changing world, we're not retreating in the march toward justice, because that can happen. And when you listen to some of the remarks being thrown around in our current presidential race and in the current political environment, let that serve to instruct the young and to remind the old that the road to justice was never smooth, it was never easy. It's a rocky road with pitfalls, traps, pushbacks, and reversals along the way. But the St. Mary's way, the way you have learned in your years here, the tradition of tolerance, the spirit of caring, where you foster relationships built on honesty, mutual respect, integrity, and trust, that's what will guide you into this uncertain future. But that future is for your generation to decide. You will lead us forward into the future. Your collective will is what will determine the way forward. You are the globalization generation, born into an environment where your life every day exists at the intersection of America and the world, where the demonstrators that marked what was known as the Arab Spring were coordinated through the same social media that you use every day: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. A world where the call you make to get a fix on your mobile device or your laptop is often answered by an individual in a land far away who is actually looking at your device and manipulating it from a small kiosk in a large warehouse that may be surrounded by poverty and slums where there's no running water. That knowledge, knowing that, is something you cannot simply turn away from. You cannot turn away from trade agreements that, on the one hand, make the product you're producing, the app you're creating, more accessible overseas, even as they ship your next-door neighbor's job overseas. So what are you going to do? I'd tell you what I did, but that would take up too much of your valuable time. Suffice it to say that I found my way to Washington after stops in Montreal, Canada, and New York City. I work in radio in a city that's often described as the most powerful city in the world, Washington, but a city whose citizens have less influence on how this nation is governed than you do. Each and every one of you, if you happen not to live in the District of Columbia, will have more to say about how the laws of this nation are made than all of the 672,000 residents of the District of Columbia. Because you're more than likely going to be living in a state that sends voting senators and voting representatives to Congress. If you're looking for a generational mission close by, a mission that contributes maybe one iota, but one crucial iota to the mission of saving the world, then consider this one. The 672,000 residents of DC pay federal taxes, serve in the military, die in conflicts abroad, in Afghanistan, in Iraq, are a larger population than at least 2 states, and yet do not have a voting representative in the US Congress, neither House nor Senate. We have one non-voting delegate in the House of Representatives, Eleanor Holmes Norton, and though she makes her voice heard loudly and clearly on all of the major issues that matter, when the Speaker of the House calls for a vote on the floor of the House, when the roll is called it does not include the District of Columbia. Why, you may ask? The answer lies in the quaint notion that all of these 672,000 Americans live in a federal bubble that has to be exempt from the control or the influence of any state, as if these people literally live in the White House, the Congress, and the federal buildings that occupy one small section of the city, as if the District of Columbia is not a vibrant city with neighborhoods and restaurants and theaters and great go-go music and punk music and rock music and jazz music that people from surrounding jurisdictions go to precisely because they find entertainment and culture there. Of course, that quaint notion of the federal city is a mask. It's a mask for the partisan politics that now so beset us as a nation. A mask intended to cover the crude political calculation that if the residents of the districts were a state, if the residents of the districts had their rights of citizenship, statehood, or voting rights in Congress, then it would be to the advantage of one political party over another. That's the simple, crude political calculation that denies these 672,000 citizens their rights, making ours the only advanced country in the world in which the residents of the capital city don't have a vote in the legislative affairs of their nation, the only advanced country in the world in which a fundamental right of democracy is denied to over 500,000 citizens for no other reason than where they happen to live. We didn't even get what's known as home rule until the early 1970s. That's when we were finally able to elect our own mayor and city council, and even today, when we pass laws, the Congress has 90 days during which it can simply nullify those laws with no consequence whatsoever to the members of Congress who do so. Think about how you would feel if your state enacted a law and a lawmaker from another state who disagreed with that law had the power to simply strike it down. Why? You'd be outraged. And so, I'd like you to be outraged that it's happening right down the street. So, there's a small generational mission for you: statehood for the District of Columbia. You can reflect our outrage. Pass the word on wherever you go. But today is not a day for outrage. Today is a day for celebration. Today is a day to give thanks. You just earned a degree from the finest public liberal arts college in the Mid-Atlantic, meaning one of the finest in the world. Today means you have passed a crucial test in this ongoing odyssey we call life. So, enjoy it. Because tomorrow, you've got to go out and save the world. Along the way, you'll find that you'll often be called on to do battle in the arena of ideas. Well, as someone who has been moderating on-air battles in the arena of ideas for over 4 decades, I think I've learned a thing or two from my experiences. Secrets I'll share with you. First rule of thumb: the person who talks the most is not winning the argument. It may surprise you to know that it's often the best listener who wins in the battle of ideas. Listening is actually a skill. When I was growing up in Guyana, South America, as I mentioned earlier, there was no television. So people listened to the radio intently. You could not talk to my mother when she was listening to the radio. She'd actually say, "Hush, can't you see that I'm listening to the radio?" When you listen well, when you listen carefully, you're able to distinguish the difference between substance and style, the difference between serious ideas and bluster, and you're better prepared to make your own arguments effectively. I am described professionally as a talk show host, but most of what I do is listen. Secondly, in the arena of ideas, preparation is huge. The competitive advantage you have depends on how well prepared you are. You can't go into a conversation about climate change with the notion that your basic common sense will somehow prevail, that you can deny the science but win the argument. You've got to at least know some of the science. See, if you're going to be leading people, and you will, they've got to be able to trust your judgment and your arguments because you've consistently demonstrated that you prepare. And finally, no matter how passionate you are, and you should be passionate about your ideas. Ideas are important. But being passionate about your ideas doesn't make you right. In the final analysis, it's the opportunity to put your ideas into practice that will make the difference in whether you're right or wrong. The struggle over ideas is ultimately a struggle over how to improve the lives of people. And that's the mission for which a St. Mary's College education has prepared you, even as you improve your own life. And that brings me back to my original premise. It's the role of each generation, out of relative obscurity, to discover its mission and either fulfill it or betray it. You have now emerged from that obscurity. St. Mary's College has prepared you to fulfill your generation's mission. So let the record show that you have been declared mission ready. Now go out and save the world. And congratulations.
Thank you. It is always an honor for the college to be able to express its appreciation for those whom it admires. This year, we have 3 individuals we wish to thank publicly for their service to their communities and for their support they've given our institution. We will recognize them through the presentation of an honorary degree from the college, beginning with our distinguished speaker, Kojo Nnamdi. I would like to ask Chair Gail Harmon to join me at the podium to read from these citations that compose our honorary degrees.
In the late 1960s, in post-riot Washington, D.C., you were an early voice for the Center for Black Education, founded by the former members of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. In more recent years, you've been hailed by the Washington Post as the best radio interviewer in town. Through your work and career, you've been the means for more than 4 decades by which opinions of the population of the nation's capital are heard on political issues, social policies, culture, and education. You founded the board of the Public Access Corporation of Washington, D.C., and have chaired it since 1997, engaging the whole community in a dialogue that's broadly representative of its varied perspectives and cultures. For your social activism, you were honored as a civil rights hero by the National Council for Community Justice. It is with great pleasure that we bestow upon you today, in recognition of your contributions to the national dialogue and to the open exchange of unique voices and ideas, a Doctor of Letters honoris causa.
Thank you so much.
You will do that.
Whoa, man.
Oh, here.
Did you take a...
Oh,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I can see that.
Now you have.
Coach Namdi, it is with great pleasure that the college presents to you an honorary degree and a doctoral hood. We really appreciate all that you do for everyone, including those of us at the college. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Mr. John Bohannon, would you please approach the podium?
John, your work ethics goes back to your college days when you worked construction jobs to help pay for your education. You've spent your political career working hard for Maryland families, and your long record of public service to Southern Maryland, and specifically St. Mary's College, has been invaluable. Your leadership in Annapolis as a member of the Maryland House of Delegates was instrumental in so many ways. You advocated for state support to lower tuition at St. Mary's College in both 2013 and 2014, making us a more affordable choice for Maryland families. You endorsed the college's D'Souza Brent Scholars Program, helping to secure state support for this benchmark effort to expand access to a college education. You supported the college's capital program, advancing campus facilities, development, and construction as necessary investments in future success. It is with great pleasure that we bestow upon you today, in recognition of your service and dedication to St. Mary's College of Maryland, a Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa. Thank you. Take off your hat.
And kneel. Congratulations. Thank you, John, for everything you've done for the college. And finally, Mr. Gary Kessler, would you please approach the podium?
Gary, you were instrumental in establishing the Educational Partnership Agreement between the Naval Air Warfare Center Aircraft Division, the Patuxent Partnership, and St. Mary's College of Maryland. I think we need to explain what this means. It's through this agreement our students and faculty have benefited from the unique expertise, facilities, equipment, and technology available at NAWCAT. The partnership has facilitated student internships in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics with the county's leading employers. Further, your encouragement to apply for grant support from the Office of Naval Research has yielded additional opportunities for our students. In your citizenship and service to our community, you served on the Board of Education for St. Mary's County Public Schools and on the Southern Maryland Higher Education Council, doing your part to improve access to higher education in this region. It is with great pleasure that we bestow upon you today, in recognition of your contributions to the students and faculty of St. Mary's College of Maryland and to the citizens of St. Mary's County, a Doctrine of Humane Letters honoris causa. Take your hat off.
Third time's a charm. Beautiful. Thank you. That's right. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Thank you, Gary, for all that you've done for the college. Students, families, and guests, we're approaching that moment when we bring forward each student who has earned their baccalaureate degree. Lorraine Glidden Provost and Dean of Faculty, will you please join me at the podium?
Thank you, President Jordan. To award the degrees, the candidates will be presented alphabetically by major. The Associate Dean of Faculty, Dr. Ruth Feingold, will read the names of the students. Madam President, the candidates who come before you now have successfully completed at St. Mary's College of Maryland all the educational requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Arts.
Class of 2016, please stand for the charge.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Anthropology, Alex Brian Alvarenga, cum laude. Jessica Ann Blofschi, with minors in History and African Diaspora Studies, cum laude. Allison Brenda Curry, with a second major in History, magna cum laude. Eliza Drake Fletcher, magna cum laude. Mena Girma, with a minor in Biology. Mary Christina Gomez, with minors in Museum Studies and History. Rosemary Mathea Hammock, with minors in Museum Studies and African Diaspora Studies, Phi Beta Kappa, summa cum laude. Morgan L. Jenkins Hauk, with a second major in History. Caitlin Elizabeth Keene, with a second major in History and minors in Museum Studies and African Diaspora Studies. Colin Morrison. Tong Mu, with minors in Museum Studies, Educational Studies, and Sociology. Anna Maria Nightingale. Anna Alyssa Pasaniti, with Environmental Studies and African Diaspora Studies minors, cum laude. Lydia Marie Roca, with a second major in Art History and a minor in Museum Studies, Phi Beta Kappa, magna cum laude. Alora May Warden, with minors in Museum Studies and Spanish, cum laude. Rebecca Jean Webster, with a second major in History, magna cum laude. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Art, Jamie Young Im, with a second major in Computer Science, magna cum laude. Hunter Elizabeth Lengel, with a second major in Political Science and minors in Sociology and Latin American Studies, magna cum laude. Cole Benjamin Meyerhoff, with a second major in Environmental Studies. Emily Rader, with a second major in Art History and a minor in Museum Studies. Erin Scher Stevens, with a minor in Film and Media Studies. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Art and Art History, Joshua Carter. Barry Montgomery, with a minor in Art History. Daniel James Skibicki, with a second major in International Language and Culture Spanish and a minor in Educational Studies. Lee Carol Anderson, with a minor in Museum Studies. Ellen Dahl, with minors in Museum Studies and Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies, summa cum laude. Camille Mary Hogan, with a minor in Art Studio. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Asian Studies, Christy Coombs, with a second major in History and a minor in Religious Studies. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Biochemistry, Ethan Robert Hain, with a minor in Mathematics, summa cum laude. Caleb Hunt. Sarah Ellen Locke, with a minor in Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies, cum laude. Wyatt Edward Polishak. Azar Ali Raji, with a minor in Neurosciences. Clarissa Junying Roos, with a second major in Biology, Phi Beta Kappa, NITSA distinction, summa cum laude. Chetan Sari, magna cum laude. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Biology, Stephen Michael Adams. Brooke Bartko, with a second major in Environmental Studies and a minor in Educational Studies. Max Wyatt Becker, with a second major in Environmental Studies. Jacob Eli Bernhardt, NHTSA Commendation, cum laude. Maria Elena Bertoni. Emily Margaret Bishop. Brittany Ray Blanche. Scott Glennon Bradley, with a second major in Economics. Carmen Angela Condelli, with a second major in Psychology and a minor in Music. Kathleen Marie Crane, with minors in Mathematics and Environmental Studies, cum laude. Kylie McKenna Curtis, with a minor in Mathematics, NHTSA recognition, magna cum laude. Allison Sarah Dolan. Sarah Elizabeth Daniels, with a second major in Biochemistry and minor in Educational Studies, cum laude. Courtney Lee Esworthy Good, with a minor in Anthropology, cum laude. Derek Atiki Fokala. Megan Elizabeth Gerdes, with a second major in Environmental Studies. Jessica Ann Goodrich, with a second major in Neuroscience. Marco Gabriel Hamens Puertolas, with a second major in Mathematics. Emlyn Elizabeth Hammer, with a minor in Art Studio. Evan Connor Harris, NHTSA participation, cum laude. Tiffany Herget, with a minor in Environmental Studies, cum laude. Lucas Irvin, with a second major in Environmental Studies, NHTSA recognition, cum laude. Ryan Michael Jenkins. Melanie R. Johnson, with a minor in Neurosciences, cum laude. Gabrielle Leather. Melanie Ann McDonald, with a minor in Art Studio. Amanda Marie Manello, with a second major in Public Policy Studies and a minor in Economics. Gregory Carl Mainolfi, with a minor in Environmental Studies. Alex Christopher Majane, summa cum laude. Ryan Lee McKeeby, cum laude. Gregory F. Mickelson, with minors in Environmental Studies and Music. Maureen Holly Monk, with minors in Educational Studies and Music, magna cum laude. Shelby Lee Newman, magna cum laude. Jessica Aburaba Ninsing. Rebecca Alice Pardon, with a second major in Psychology, Phi Beta Kappa, summa cum laude. Allison Rachel Pendrak, with a second major in International Languages and Cultures, Spanish, and a minor in Environmental Studies, cum laude. Bradley Philip Power, NHTSA recognition, magna cum laude. Amanda Erin Rankin, with a minor in History, magna cum laude. Alexandra Helena Rogowski, NHTSA distinction, magna cum laude. Bliss Elizabeth Rogers, with a minor in Neurosciences. Taylor Hawley Sartor, magna cum laude. Austin P. Schlegel, with a second major in Economics, summa cum laude. Martin Parker Shea, with minors in Film and Media Studies and Environmental Studies. Adrienne M. Silver, magna cum laude. Rylan Elizabeth Sorini, with a second major in Environmental Studies and a minor in Educational Studies, cum laude. William Henry Stone. Carly Lynn Straight. Yuana Duchow, with a minor in Neurosciences. Edith Alicia Torres. Stephen Ayodeji Trimnel. Tochuko Jason Victor with a minor in neurosciences. Peter Aiden Whitesell with a second major in biochemistry. Reagan Wilhelm with a minor in environmental studies. Michelle Sterrett Williams with minors in environmental studies and art studio, cum laude. Abigail Janine Wolkenberg. Laura Thompson Zabriskie with minors in music and educational studies. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Chemistry, Thomas Connor Donahue with a minor in biology, cum laude. Dario Gerlando Dorostanti with a minor in environmental studies. Christopher Warren Nell, cum laude. Drake William Lentz with a second major in economics. Ryan Shea Mahoney. Anna Grace King McLean with a minor in mathematics, Phi Beta Kappa, Nitsa Commendation, summa cum laude. Teresa Nicole Paz. Jacqueline Marie Moyer with a minor in music. Carrie Nicole Schweiger, cum laude. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Computer Science, Nicole Ann Backert with a minor in Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies. Robert J. Bell with a minor in English, magna cum laude. Dylan Robert Collier. Nicholas Ryan Custodio with a minor in mathematics. Rose Janae Davidson with a minor in art. Isaac Dixon. Jacob Prescott Doran. Merle Tibor Ferguson with a second major in mathematics, summa cum laude. Cody Robert Forrest. Walter Edward Gerling with a second major in mathematics. Dalton P. Haber with minors in mathematics and religious studies. Mark Hardesty with a minor in mathematics. Caleb A. Hardaleza with a minor in economics. Stephanie P. Miller. Victoria Paiva Miller, magna cum laude. Nicholas Moriski. Jennifer Lynn Neal, magna cum laude. Caroline Firma Orlando with minors in mathematics and Spanish. Patrick Roger Streifel with a minor in mathematics, Phi Beta Kappa, summa cum laude. Amy Whittington. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Economics, Philip John Capello with a second major in Public Policy Studies and a minor in Political Science, cum laude. Matthew Dennis Carney with a second major in Public Policy Studies and a minor in Political Science, magna cum laude. Mengfei Chen with a minor in Educational Studies. Alexander M. Curtis III. Ryan C. Deller. Jared Michael Eaker. Nicholas Osman Ursoy with a second major in Political Science, magna cum laude. Matthew Fleer, NHTSA Scholar Program distinction. I don't know what else. Emily Oscara Garland with a minor in Religious Studies. Marissa J.C. Gollison with a minor in Environmental Studies. Connor Paul Goody. Don Durrell Hill. Aiden Joseph Hennessy with a second major in political science. Sarah Ann Holter with minors in environmental studies and studio art, summa cum laude. Wen Tao Hu with a minor in mathematics. Peter Moss Ione with a minor in mathematics. Molly Ray Johnson with a minor in studio art. Laura Bethany Cruz with minors in English and mathematics, cum laude. Luke Elliott Land with a second major in public policy studies and a minor in Asian studies. Ashley Nicole Lawrence with a second major in public policy studies. Mariah Pierce Leffingwell. Ian Davis McDonald. Grace Anna McDougall with a minor in environmental studies. Bryn Ann Miller with minors in mathematics and Spanish. Ariana Rochelle Neely with minors in museum studies and history. Caitlin Sharon Noreen with a minor in Spanish. Charles Andrew Pompey. Matthew Rados. Ryan Patrick Rice with a minor in Spanish. Ezekiel John Rogers. Theodore J. Secor with a minor in political science. Natasha Skullrood with a minor in environmental studies. Troy Alexander Spurrier with a minor in theater studies. Andrew Michael Tarquinio with a minor in political science. William Austin Toland with a minor in political science. Maribel Torres. Richard L. Tiaba with a minor in computer science, magna cum laude. Stuart Andrew Utter with a second major in public policy studies and a minor in political science. Margaret Mackenzie Wagner with a second major in public policy studies, magna cum laude. Stephen Quinn Weir. Benjamin Michael Weiss. Kira Jean Westbrook with a second major in public policy studies and a minor in music, Phi Beta Kappa, magna cum laude. Andy Zheng with a minor in mathematics. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in English. Aliyah M. Abadir with a minor in religious studies, NITSA recognition. Michael Ross Abrams with minors in history and film and media studies, magna cum laude. Matthew Scott Alexander. Amanda Maureen Bernard with minors in film and media studies and studio art, summa cum laude. John Alexander Bird with a minor in history. Carrie Clements with a minor in educational studies. Abigail Therese Doyle with a second major in sociology, magna cum laude. Caroline Sterner Drogan with a minor in art history, cum laude. Emily Houston Espina. Robert P. Froman with a second major in psychology and a minor in dance, magna cum laude. Max Timothy Frazier with a second major in theater, film, and media studies. Caitlin Gabrielle Hamilton. Jane Elizabeth Harkness with a minor in film and media studies, magna cum laude. Tessa Charlotte Haynes with minors in women, gender, and sexuality studies and film and media studies, magna cum laude. Catherine Ann Hedrick with the second major in psychology, magna cum laude. Claire Collins Hogan with a minor in museum studies, magna cum laude. Abigail Rose Hughes with a minor in film and media studies. Sarah Marie Jablin, Phi Beta Kappa, magna cum laude. James Carson Kelly with a minor in Film and Media Studies, cum laude. Simone Liban Levine with minors in Theater Studies, Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies, and Political Science, NITSA distinction, magna cum laude. Joseph James Lignelli with a minor in Philosophy, magna cum laude. Caitlin Mattingly, cum laude. Shatira Latrice Murray with a minor in Dance. Elena Soleil Napolitano with a second major in Psychology. Benedict Jean O'Connor with a minor in Philosophy, NITSA recognition, cum laude. Tori Lynn Poffenberger with minors in Educational Studies and Philosophy, magna cum laude. Karen Elizabeth Qualls with a minor in Educational Studies. Mason Seamus Redmond with minors in Film and Media Studies and Educational Studies. Aaron Joshua Stock. Bethany Ann Van Was with a minor in History. Wendy Rose Vorwick with a second major in Theater, Film, and Media Studies with a minor in Dance. Michelle Catherine Williams with a minor in History, cum laude.
Hold on. Not that one yet. One more.
Catherine Elizabeth Weller with a second major in Environmental Studies. Now, for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Environmental Studies. Mia Lisa Munch with minors in Economics and Spanish. Lillian Fetut Schneider with a minor in Biology. Karen Angela Wood with minors in Dance and Educational Studies. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in History, Rebecca Shelby Archer with a second major in Art History, magna cum laude. Kevin C. Clothier with a minor in Religious Studies. John Robert Duchel. Carson D. Fainer with minors in Museum Studies, Music and Political Science, Phi Beta Kappa, summa cum laude. Benjamin Demery Goldsmith with a minor in Educational Studies, cum laude. Orion Wilson Hartman. Brendan Peter Hayes. Jessica Lynn Hill with a minor in Anthropology. Davis M. Holland with a minor in Educational Studies. Samuel Augustus Howe with a minor in Religious Studies. Connor Patrick Jordan with a minor in Educational Studies, cum laude. Jared Christian Karbowski with a minor in Political Science. Cameron Kiani with a second major in Political Science, cum laude. Alex Maria Lanham with a minor in Educational Studies. Isabella Myungyeon Lee with a minor in Religious Studies, cum laude. Acer Hall Lewis. Madeline Kennedy Mann with minors in Museum Studies, Anthropology and Environmental Studies, Phi Beta Kappa, summa cum laude. Gabrielle Barrett McKinney with a minor in English. Andrew DeGavalli Murty with a minor in Music. Jeffrey Michael Patrick with a second major in Art and Art History. Tassin Abdul Rashid with a second major in Political Science. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in International Languages and Cultures. Hannah Rose Edler with a concentration in Chinese and a second major in Asian Studies and a minor in History. Isabel Coster Klompus with a concentration in Spanish, a second major in Psychology, a minor in Educational Studies, magna cum laude. Taylor Ann Lampisona with a concentration in Chinese and a second major in Economics. Emilia L. Petrillo with a concentration in French and Spanish. Ari Daniel Pluznik with a concentration in Spanish, a second major in Biology, a minor in Music, Phi Beta Kappa, NITS accommodation, summa cum laude. Mayumi Rivera with a concentration in Chinese and a second major in Asian Studies, cum laude. Lydia M. Torresellas with a concentration in French. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Mathematics, Courtney M. Dunn with a minor in Educational Studies, cum laude. Kyle Joseph Flanagan with a minor in Physics, magna cum laude. Jennifer Michelle Keller with a second major in Computer Science. William C. Kimmel with a minor in Computer Science. Kara Danielle Macklin with minors in Educational Studies and Spanish, Phi Beta Kappa, summa cum laude. Christopher Morgan McElligott, cum laude. Olivia Leor Nussbaum. Ashley Paul with a minor in Educational Studies. Francisca Alicia Rudolph with a second major in Art History. Michael Parler Schilling with a second major in Economics and a minor in Computer Science, magna cum laude. Morgan Lynn Stragowski with minors in Economics and Dance, summa cum laude. Ian Travis Taff with a minor in Studio Art. P.K. Than. Allison Crowder Thompson with a minor in Educational Studies, magna cum laude. Russell William Trench with minors in Educational Studies and Economics. Leo Walker with a minor in Spanish. Dylan Joseph Weber with a second major in Physics. Ingyi Zheng with a second major in Economics, a minor in Computer Science, Phi Beta Kappa, summa cum laude. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Music, Crosby Cofford with a minor in Educational Studies, cum laude. Amanda Louise Durst. Alexandra Lynn Kennedy with a minor in Educational Studies. Jordan Christopher McRae with a second major in English, NHTSA recognition, cum laude. Leslie H. Roser. Leah Sensini with minors in Educational Studies and Dance, cum laude. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Natural Sciences. Kian Reza Karimi. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy. Alexandra A. Kalambokidis with a second major in Political Science, Phi Beta Kappa, magna cum laude. P. Stern Christian with a minor in Chinese, magna cum laude. Jesse Metcalf Hanlon with minors in Environmental Studies and Asian Studies. Leander Artinus Jordan Jr. with a minor in Computer Science. Kelton James Tupper. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Physics, Stephen Charles Parsons. William Conrad Alberding Jr. with a second major in Mathematics. Grant Patrick Burgess with a minor in Mathematics. Hannah Marie Lewis with minors in Mathematics and Philosophy, Phi Beta Kappa, NHTSA distinction, summa cum laude. Patrick L. Savage with a minor in Mathematics. Matthew Evan Moreland with a minor in Mathematics. Elizabeth Caitlin Nance with a minor in Mathematics. Anastasia Newhart, cum laude. Daniel Gerard Stouffer with a minor in Mathematics. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Political Science, Kareem L. Adams. Brittany Nicole Baldwin with a minor in History. Joseph Franklin Carr with a second major in Economics. Lauren Catherine Cawley with a second major in Public Policy Studies. Erin Marie Chase with a second major in Public Policy Studies, magna cum laude. Eleanor Ray Cook with a second major in History, magna cum laude. Evan Krishna Degay with a second major in Sociology, cum laude. Lily Gata with a minor in Educational Studies. Amanda Goodspeed with a second major in Public Policy Studies and a minor in Economics, cum laude. Nevin Dwayne Hall with a minor in Democracy Studies. Burley M. Herman with a minor in History. Fernando Miguel Maldonado with a second major in Sociology and a minor in Dance. Matthew Monroe Manning with a minor in Sociology. Claire Elizabeth McGaw with a second major in Public Policy Studies, magna cum laude. Hunter Douglas Moeller. Sarah Bentumia Parkinson with a second major in Public Policy Studies and minors in Environmental Studies and French. Leah Skye Patterson with a second major in Public Policy Studies, minors in Mathematics and Economics, cum laude. Kyle Michael Powers with a minor in Spanish. Diana Yvette Vergara with a minor in Chinese. Emily Kathleen Vita Colonna with a second major in Economics. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, David J. Adashek with a minor in Neurosciences. Catherine M. Anderson with a minor in Economics. Jordan Rebecca Ashley with a minor in Environmental Educational Studies, magna cum laude. Muluberhan Marbare with a minor in Anthropology. Thomas Grant Bernier, cum laude. Megan Lee Blizzard, cum laude. Elaine Bethany Bucknam with a second major in Art and Art History, a minor in Neurosciences, Phi Beta Kappa, NITSA distinction, summa cum laude. Bianca Lynn Kalin with minors in Educational Studies and Spanish. Grace Lian Chow with the second and third major in Economics and International Languages and Cultures, Chinese, cum laude. Claire Renee Cohen with a minor in Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies, cum laude. Nina Marie Collins with a minor in Educational Studies. Bobby Ryan Condry with a minor in History. Denise Ann Crane with a minor in Educational Studies, cum laude. Elizabeth Ann D'Agostero with a minor in Educational Studies. Caroline Lee Davey with a minor in Computer Science, cum laude. Genevieve M. DeBroff with minors in Educational Studies and Music, magna cum laude. Kayla Laura Dunn with a minor in Educational Studies, magna cum laude. Amanda Lynn Erdman with a minor in Educational Studies, cum laude. Taylor D. Foley with a minor in Educational Studies, NITSA commendation, magna cum laude. Olabisi Elaine Fraser with a minor in Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies. Sherry Lynn Frisco with a minor in Educational Studies, magna cum laude. Sinead Marie Gill with a minor in Anthropology. Robin Suzanne Goldman with a minor in Educational Studies, magna cum laude. Jonathan Paul Harold with a minor in Religious Studies, cum laude. Samuel Brent Hirsch with a minor in Neurosciences, cum laude. Michael L. Horn with a minor in Educational Studies. Olivia Marie Hussey with a minor in Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies, cum laude. Maria Jimenez. Armand James Karimi with a minor in Neurosciences, cum laude. Helena Diane Clausen with minors in Religious Studies, Art History, and Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies, Phi Beta Kappa, NITSA distinction, summa cum laude. Catherine Diane Coker with a minor in Spanish. Jessica Robin Konecki with a minor in sociology, magna cum laude. Nicole Ashley Logan with a minor in neurosciences. Megan Elizabeth Long with a minor in neurosciences, summa cum laude. Jacob Ryan Lowenthal with a minor in music, cum laude. Zoe Strother McElmail with a minor in educational studies. Charlotte Ann Mecklenburg with a minor in educational studies. Liza Nicole Moore with a minor in sociology, Phi Beta Kappa, summa cum laude. Elena Irene Morrissey with minors in women, gender, and sexuality studies and political science, cum laude. Derek A. Mullen with minors in women, gender, and sexuality studies and religious studies, cum laude. Catherine Ann Nicolini with minors in educational studies and dance, cum laude. Shavis Janae Knock with a minor in educational studies. Nadine Postolaque with a second major in international and languages and cultures, Spanish, Phi Beta Kappa, summa cum laude. Christina Marie Puglisi with a minor in educational studies. Emily Quaid with a minor in educational studies. Wendy E. Ramirez with a minor in educational studies. Isabel Jane Rickman with a second major in sociology, Phi Beta Kappa, summa cum laude. Christian Paul Romer. Emily Alexis Rost with a second major in international languages and cultures, Spanish, cum laude. Catherine Elizabeth Schultz with minors in women, gender, and sexuality studies and Spanish. Heather Nicole Sessoms. Rachel Ann Sowers with a minor in educational studies, cum laude. Michael P. Spear. Emily Nicole Stumpfig with a minor in studio art. Zachary Turallo. Carly Ray Valiant with a minor in dance. Anjana Venkatesan. Caroline Rachel White with a second major in sociology, cum laude. Jessica Marie White with a minor in educational studies. Victoria M. Williford. Ian O'Brien Winston. Stephanie Jeanette Wood with a minor in sociology. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Public Policy Studies, Katrina Marie Carey with minors in Studio Art and Film and Media Studies. Jordan Cartwright. Carrie Grace Cheney with minors in Economics and Music. Clayton Adams Daniker with a second major in Political Science, cum laude. Autumn R. Fisher with minors in Economics and Political Science. Christopher Kelly Hartwick with a minor in History. Genevieve McPherson Schambarger with a second major in Economics. Eric Andrew Schroeder with a second major in Political Science, magna cum laude. Catherine Grace Somerville with a second major in Political Science and minors in Educational Studies and Environmental Studies, cum laude. Sarah Catherine Stayer with a second major in Political Science, NITSA distinction, magna cum laude. Andrew James Wilhelm with a second major in Political Science. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Religious Studies, Mason Robert Plummer with a minor in Environmental Studies. Jessica Ashley Slater with minors in Biology and Sociology. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Sociology, Kayla Marie Beyer. Tanner Alexander Brooks, cum laude. Emily Victoria Cerna with a second major in biology. Morgan Ruth Dorset with a minor in educational studies. Ryan Allen Flynn. Claire Catherine Geinzer with a minor in educational studies, cum laude. James Gilmore Hahn. Megan Clore with a minor in mathematics, magna cum laude. Ashley Lyndon McClintock. Casey Jacqueline McCoy. John Stroman Morabito with a second major in public policy studies. Jenna Kaylin Raleigh with a minor in computer science, Phi Beta Kappa, summa cum laude. Shannon Eileen Ramsey with a minor in educational studies. Christian Raj Saini. Emily Page Sinton with a minor in educational studies, cum laude. Jennifer Ann Straub with a minor in educational studies. Jenna Lee Whitman with a minor in women, gender, and sexuality studies. Young Yue with a second major in economics. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts with a student-designed major, Allison Elizabeth Claytor with a student design major in women in the media. Daniel Francis Pratson with a student design major in environmental education. Whitney Dawkins Rupard with a student design major in environmental education. Emily Elizabeth Smithers with a student design major in neuroscience and minors in biology and Spanish. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Theater, Film, and Media Studies, Candace Battle with minors in educational studies and dance. Edward James Brents with a minor in Film and Media Studies, magna cum laude. Hannah Irene Dickmeyer with minors in History and Museum Studies. Maria Constance Duke with a second major in Sociology, Phi Beta Kappa, magna cum laude. Richard M. Farrell, magna cum laude. Raymond Austin Gore with a second major in English and a minor in Educational Studies, cum laude. Carol Joyce Lowe with a minor in Theater Studies. Julia Margaret Singleton with a second major in English. And here we come to the last member of the graduating class of 2016, Jordan Patricia Slattery.
All right, the last time I was here was a dress rehearsal. Now, students, stand for the charge. Class of 2016. My charge to you, you have done well here at St. Mary's College of Maryland, where you've studied and learned in the finest liberal arts tradition. As you move beyond the banks of this river into the world, my expectation is that you will take your passions, your skills, and the knowledge you have gained in this place to create a more just and humane society for all. To symbolize the milestone culminating in today's ceremony, those of you who have not done so already, please move your tassel to the left. You are now officially alumni of St. Mary's College of Maryland. Congratulations. So you may be seated. So I want to thank you to your families, friends, loved ones, and all other supporters of these wonderful students for joining us here today and witnessing the graduation of the class of 2016. The ceremony now concludes with our recessional march, a special tradition at St. Mary's. As soon as the faculty and honored guests reach the terrace of the Doherty Palmer Commons, they will form a double line. The new graduates will pass through it to receive congratulations and farewells. After passing through this double line, the new graduates, now our alumni, will move on out to the roadway on the far side of the DPC. Families and friends can meet the new graduates at that point. I bid you all a safe, happy, productive, and enjoyable life. Thank you.